Hello and welcome to our free Facebook webinar. My name is Jack Korn, Director of New Business Development here at Targeting Cloud, and we're a digital ad agency, and I'll be your host today. And it is my pleasure to have with us Mark Helton, President and CEO of Hot Prospector, a CRM designed by loan officers for loan officers. And he's here to show you a system that ties in Facebook advertising with an automated lead follow-up system that actually runs 24/7 while you sleep. And guess what? It's not going to take a day off or call in sick. And it looks like we're still waiting on a few more attendees, so let's just go over some housekeeping for today's webinar. Understand that by taking time out today, you're investing in yourself. And in order to gain the highest ROI and to leverage your time, please silence your cell phones, close your office door, clear all your distractions so that you can come away with a new direction on how to get your own buyer leads, and finally have a referral partner system that realtors will be knocking down to your door for a change. Okay, and now I would like to hand this over to Mark Helton. And again, I would like to thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us today. You will walk away with some valuable gems, some nuggets that can take you to the next level. So again, thank you for being here, and now, Mark Helton.
Well, hello there. This is Mark Helton over at Hot Prospector, and first off, I just want to say thank you for joining me today on this webinar. I am super excited about the information that I'm going to be sharing with you. I'm so confident. I'm so pumped for what this is going to do for your business. We are going to help you scale your business to the moon, okay? Now, I'm about to, before we actually get into the information, by the way, let me just double check, make sure everybody can hear me okay. So if you would please, there's a questions box there somewhere on your screen for the webinar. If you just go ahead and type in there your city, where you're at. Just go ahead and type in the city, wherever you're at. And by the way, I'm an interactive kind of guy, so just be prepared throughout this call or this webinar to type in things. I like to ask things of you and questions, so that way I can help make this experience much more interactive. Okay, I'm seeing some people starting to type in. I got somebody from Long Beach. How you doing? Hawaii. Aloha. Anaheim, California. Awesome. I love Disneyland. Louisville. Great. Fresno. Kansas City. New York. New York. Every time I say it, I just want to start singing. Start spreading the news. Awesome. Boston. Detroit. Oh, my dad's from Detroit. Cool. Seattle. All right. Denver. Good. Okay, good. Well, I see that there are people from all over the country here, and that's great. And, I just want to start off, too, by saying everything that I'm going to be teaching you guys, no matter where you're at, this is going to work for you. And we're going to be showing you how to generate purchase business, but we've also done some stuff in the refi biz as well, helping out with refis. And I know a lot of people are thinking, oh, there's no way refinance is dead. No, it's still alive and kicking if you know how to get the right people that you can help. And we might touch on that just a quick second, but mostly what we're going to be talking today is how to generate purchase business. All right, now speaking of purchase business, if you would please just go ahead and throw in a number here of how many loans you're averaging right now per month. Now, don't be worried. I'm not going to call you out. Nobody's going to know this. The reason why I want to know is I just want to get an idea of where everybody is. So, we can see exactly how much we're going to be able to help out, and if you're on the right place. Okay, I see between 3 and 5, okay, 2 loans a month, okay, 15 loans a month, great job, 7 to 10, 50, wow, okay, 50 loans a month, that's good job, 16, oh, wow, we got some new people in here as well. Okay, well, look. Here's the good news, all right? The stuff that I'm going to be showing you today is very, very simple, okay? It's not rocket science, so no matter how new you are or how long you've been in the business, this is definitely going to be something that you're going to be able to do, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and dig in here. So what we're going to be talking about today is how to generate over 200 new client opportunities every month. Now, if you need more to close more. So some of our guys in here that are doing more than 30 loans a month, you may need to generate more. This is completely scalable. If you are not looking for that many loans, it's scalable down as well, okay? But we're going to show you how to generate a good, solid amount of client opportunities every month so you can close more loans. So if you're doing 2 loans, you can go to 5 loans. If you're doing 5 loans, you can go to 10 loans. If you're at 30, you can go to 60. You get the point. And by the way, this is actually something that you will be able to do without ever having to make a single cold call. As a matter of fact, most of the stuff that I'm going to be showing you, you'll never even have to pick up the phone. Your customers are going to be calling you, all right? So without further ado, let's go ahead and dig in here, okay? So during this call, we're going to be covering 3 secrets, okay? The first secret that I want to tell you, and by the way, let me just back up a little bit. My goal here today is to deliver an obscene amount of value, okay? And I know your time is valuable, and I'm going to do everything I can to keep this short and sweet, okay? But for you sticking around today, what you're going to get are secrets that took me years to figure out. Okay, so you'll be able to be here, for a short amount of time and learn what I've had to try and fail at for years to get where I'm at. Okay, and I've been doing this since about 2003. So you're gonna learn a lot in a short period of time. All right, from in comparison to what it took me. All right. So during this call, secret number 1, where to find new client opportunities that want to work with you and can afford to buy. Now, quick show of hands, who here has ever bought a lead? Just put a 1 in the chat box. If you've ever bought a lead before, put a 1 in the chat box. Okay, lots of people. Put a 2 in the chat box if you've never bought a lead. Okay, lots of people are saying 1, ones. Okay, I got a couple 2s in here. Okay, lots of people have bought leads. Well, look, here's the thing that most people don't like about leads. Lead generating companies are incentivized to sell you what? Leads, right? So they don't really care so much about whether or not the lead converts or not. So they'll put that, they'll reach out and use marketing tactics to get people, just anybody, to fill out a form so that way they can sell that lead to you. And now if you've ever experienced these types of leads, you know exactly what I'm talking about here. These customers are usually the ones that never answer the phone. When you do get on the phone, they don't remember filling out the form, all that stuff, right? And then worse, if they do get excited enough to continue the process with you, they couldn't afford to buy even if they wanted to, okay? So the first secret is we're going to show you where to find the ones that actually are interested, that want to talk to you, that's going to answer the phone, and then most importantly, they are going to be able to qualify for the purchase. All right, who's excited about that? Put a 1 in the chat box if you're excited. Awesome. All right, now secret number 2, how to boost your conversions with gamified pre-qualifications. Now, the stuff that we're going to be talking about today is all about Facebook, how to generate leads on Facebook, okay? Now, when you get somebody to see your ad, okay, we're going to talk, on secret number 1, we're going to talk about audience targeting. We're going to talk about the messaging. Well, when you get somebody to see your message and click off, there's the problem that I see most marketers or loan officers are facing is getting a good enough conversion on that lead page to make their lead costs low. Okay, so in secret number 2, I'm going to show you a trick that we use to actually get about 4 to 5 times higher conversions on our lead pages than anybody else. Okay, 4 to 5 times. And by the way, I'm seeing averages somewhere between 5 and 10%. So we're going to be able to boost that, 25, 30, 40% or more. Okay. All right. Now, secret number 3. How to fill your calendar with new client opportunities, chasing you, begging to be closed. Now, I'm using a lot of buzzwords today. I love buzzwords because they're kind of cool, right? First one is gamification. I don't know if you've ever heard of that before. That's what we're using in secret number 2. But in secret number 3, I'm going to show you how we implement artificial intelligence and automation to literally get your customers chasing you down, ready to do something with you, okay? Who's excited about that, okay? So automation, artificial intelligence, gamification, you got to be excited about that. This is going to be one of those cool webinars. And by the way, if you're not a techie person and those words scare you, don't worry. Like, everything that we show you is like literally one-click setup type stuff, okay? All right, so without further ado, whoops, I went the wrong way. There we go. Without further ado, who am I? Why listen to me? My name is Mark Helton. I am the founder here over at Hot Prospector. I know that's one of those cool words. Whenever I say founder, I think about that movie, McDonald's, The Founder. Anyways, I digress. I'm the founder here at Hot Prospector. I built this company back in 2010 and actually built it out of necessity. I was in the mortgage business just like you from 2003 all the way up until the end of 2009, and I got really, really good at something that a lot of people in the mortgage business were failing at. And by the way, what you're looking at here is a snapshot of my LinkedIn profile, so feel free, go on over to LinkedIn and search me out and connect with me. I love connecting with people. But anyways, I got really good at doing something that a lot of loan officers failed at, and that is lead generation, okay? And what I did was I actually created a strategy where I was creating literally hundreds of leads a month, and then I would take those leads and I'd reach out to realtors and I'd say, hey, I got these customers that are looking to buy a house. Would you be interested in working with me? And, they would, of course, say yes. And I'd say, awesome. Well, here's the thing. If I'm going to send you my business, I want your business, right? So that whole process was really cool, but I didn't like the mortgage side of my business so much, and I'd gotten so good at the mortgage or the marketing side. I said, you know what? Let's go ahead and move out of this business, and that really is how Hot Prospector was born. So 2011 was when we finally released our first version of the system. It's an automated marketing system, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But it's so cool. What Hot Prospector does is it makes it so you kind of turn the tables on the prospecting side of your business. So when a lead comes in, Hot Prospector does all this outreach and stuff to get your customers following back up with you. Okay, and that's the gist of it, but again, we'll get into a little bit more detail in a second. What I'd like to do at this point is I want to play this quick little video from Dan. Dan is a guy from North American Financial here in Las Vegas, and he started with our system like, I don't know, a little over a year ago, and this is just a quick experience. He got 70 calls in 2.5 hours. I want you to hear exactly his take on this system.
Hello, this is Dan Krenzel, one of the proud owners of North American Financial. I wanted to let you know my experience that I've had with Hot Prospector. I met Mark through a title rep, and when I first talked with the title rep and she told me that she had a guy that could get my phone to ring more than it's ever rang before, I was real skeptical. Sure, you could agree. I mean, we've heard this a million times. But I was kind of reluctant, but still took the call, talked to Mark on the phone, and I liked what he had to say. And he said that he could make my phone ring more than anybody has ever made it ring. And in the mortgage business, making our phone ring, especially for refis or even purchase business, is something that will definitely help me. So I was in. I said, okay, Mark, show me what you can do. So it was a Wednesday night. I remember it so vividly. He told me, okay, how many calls do you want? I said, what is this, a video game? You're going to tell me how many calls you can get? He said, yes. I said, well, just show me what you can do. In that 2.5-hour span, he got over 70 phone calls that came into my cell phone. Now, I couldn't even answer all of them. I didn't even know that it was 70. He was texting me while the calls were coming in, telling me that I was missing calls and kind of laughing at me. And I was doing everything I could to sell a deal, and I almost got a huge refi. It was like an $800,000 refi, but the clients didn't qualify. But I almost locked up a huge deal off of that first night of calls. So obviously that got my attention, and from there I became a partner with Hot Prospector and bought the software. And I've actually built a call center now that basically uses his software and his dialer. I have 4 full-time telemarketers that actually answer the inbound calls. They go through exactly, the qualifications that I've set for them, and then they hot transfer the leads over to me. This system is amazing. The revenue that I've created has been huge. I've had a great year this year because of Hot Prospector, and I would recommend it to anybody that's looking to increase their business. Definitely take a look at this program. Thank you very much.
So here's the thing. First off, I want to make sure everybody is clear because I already see people chiming in. They're like, whoa, wait, how do you 70 calls in 2.5 hours? That's a lot of calls. Look, it is a lot of calls, and this isn't 100% of what we're talking about today. I just wanted you to get an idea of what we can do. So no matter how small or how big you are, if you need hundreds of calls a day, as a matter of fact, we work with very large mortgage companies like Freedom Mortgage to generate them over 100,000 calls in a year. So no matter what your business needs, whether you need lots of calls or you're just looking to generate some consistent leads, the stuff that we're going to be showing you today, we've got you covered, okay? So who is Hot Prospector and can you trust us? Well, if you were to do a quick search on Google, this is exactly what would pop up. So Hot Prospector, I've got it searched into the search bar here, and you'll see on the right-hand side, we got 5-star reviews on Google, we got 5-star reviews on Capterra, we got 5-star reviews on G2 Crowd. These are software review sites. We've got 5-star reviews on Facebook, 5-star reviews on Glassdoor. There's all kinds of videos online about us and testimonials from our customers. And I say all this stuff to brag, and this right here is something that most people can't even brag about. We've got an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. After being in business for 10 years, Hot Prospector has not stopped trying to be the best and doing everything we can to help our customers be successful, okay? So without too much further ado, I want to go ahead and dig in here and let's go ahead and show you how you can find new client opportunities that actually want to work with you and can afford to buy, okay? Now, go ahead. I want you to, again, be prepared. I'm going to start asking you to type in the chat box here. So first off, who here is advertising on Facebook right now? Put a 1 in the chat box if you're advertising on Facebook. Put a number 2 in the chat box, or just a 2 in the chat box if you've never advertised on Facebook. Okay, I'm seeing lots of 1s, some 2s, more 2s, okay, a little bit of 1s. All right, well, it looks like probably right around 50-50. So with that being said, I am going to kind of be a little bit more I'll use the opportunity to explain a little bit more, okay? So for those of you that are a little bit more experienced, bear with me here. I just want to make sure that everybody walks away with some extreme value. And even if you are experienced, I know that you're going to get some good stuff out of this, okay? So when it comes to Facebook, let's just start off with a couple things. First off, what's really awesome about Facebook is you are on it, your family's on it, your friends are on it, everybody you know is on Facebook, right? They have literally built the biggest social media platform in the world. And, some people say it's kind of like its own country. That's how many people are in there. It's the biggest country in the world or something like that, I've heard. But what's nice about that is 2 things. Number 1, it's the biggest billboard in the world. So if you want to reach somebody, it's literally the best place to put some kind of an ad out there. Now, I know most people, when I say advertise on Facebook, they're thinking of, posting or commenting on their own timeline or something like that and letting their friends see it. See, when we're talking about advertising, we're talking about spending money. I'm not talking about just boosting a post, but I'm talking about spending money on Facebook ads to literally generate views, okay? Now, so the first thing, like I said, is it's a big billboard. The second thing, and this is super killer, is Facebook knows everything about their users. They know what you like, what you don't like. They know what you do for a living. They know how much money you make. They know, what you're looking for. They know everything, okay? So with that being said, when you're looking to target a prospect who would be looking for a home, you have a lot of tools in your tool belt when it comes to Facebook. So let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. Here is a screenshot from within inside of Facebook's ad manager. When you're building an ad, you have the ability to target wherever you want to target. Now, up at the top, you'll see we're targeting a geographic location. In this case is Chicago, Illinois. Okay, and then we've narrowed down the ad to show within a specific age range. And gender, we're just, all genders. But here's really what I want you to look at. Look at the bottom of this screen, okay? Now, what do you see here? First off, we're targeting demographics. The second part of the demographics that we're targeting is education and field of study. But what are the field of studies that we're targeting? Right, nurses, right? So we're targeting all different types of nurses. Now, by the way, there are literally like 70-some field of study types inside of Facebook for just nurses. And you could do this with any kind of field of study. You can do this with doctors, dentists, lawyers, chiropractors, veterinarians, You can even target based off of like title, like firefighter, police officer, paramedic. I mean, literally, the sky's the limit. Teachers, anything you can think of. Now, what is one thing that all of these titles and field of studies that I just mentioned have in common? Anyone? Go ahead and put it in the chat box. What do you think of as a loan officer? I could tell you what I'm thinking, right? As a loan officer, what's the first thing that pops into your mind when we talk about, nurses, for example? Exactly. I got a bunch of people typing it in. They make good money, right? They have a good job, right? Now, in addition to the fact that they have a good job, because they have a good job, most of the time they pay their bills on time, and, they probably have some money saved up and stuff like that. So as a loan officer, if you have a choice here, if you have the choice to reach out to target nurses or to target let's say a tipped wage earner like a waitress, which would you rather do targeting towards? Of course, right? No brainer. Nurses, right? All day long. And it's going to make it so much easier for you to close a loan when you're reaching out to the right person, okay? So this here, what we're talking about right now is audience, okay? Audience is the very first thing, right? If you always hear location. This is that right here, audience, okay? Now you got the audience defined. What's the next thing? Well, the next thing is the message, okay? Now, everybody look at this screen here. Here's what I want to ask you. What jumps out at you? What do you notice the most on this page? What is it that on this ad that stands out at you most? Anything. Just go and type it in. Okay. I'm seeing, yeah, definitely the photos of the house is nice, right? And you guys are professionals, so you probably noticed that. Well, yes, exactly. Somebody just mentioned, attention Chicago nurses. If you were paying attention on the previous slide, what was I doing? We were targeting nurses, okay? So if your audience is nurses, you want those nurses to know that you're talking to them, right? Because when they see this ad, their eyes are going to be gravitating towards that, whatever, like focused in on whatever it says that relates to them. Now, because of the fact that they know that this is something that can help them, they're going to look at it and they're going to be interested and they're going to be much more willing to engage, right? Now, let's talk about engagement. What is engagement? Engagement is liking, loving, those little emoticons or whatever they're called, emojis in the bottom of the screen here you can see, commenting, sharing. Those are all engagements that happen on your post. Now, this is exciting, okay, because, and I want to see this, if you look down here at the bottom here, you could see we have 74. Now, this is a real ad, and this was actually only after running about a week. 74 likes, 33 comments, and 25 shares. What this tells Facebook is that people who see this post actually want to see this post. Now, why is that important when you're doing advertising? Well, here's why. Because the better engagement that you have on your post, the less that you're going to pay for your ads. See, there's something called relevance score that you are trying to get, a high relevance score. The higher your relevance score, the better. And when you have a high relevance score, your cost per view is going to be lower and your cost per click is going to be lower. And all of those things that revolve around keeping your costs per lead really low are going to be perfect, okay? Now, when Facebook sees this is actually a perfect example of what people want to see. And because because Facebook, and you're probably wondering, well, why would Facebook want to do this anyways, right? Why would they give me less cost when people engage? Well, because Facebook wants their users to have a good experience on Facebook. So the better their experience, the more that they're going to use Facebook. But if and the more ads that they can sell, right? But if somebody's seeing stuff that they don't want to see, they're going to get frustrated and they're not going to be using Facebook. So that's the reason why they want to, they want to show these ads. Okay? So far so good. If you like what you're seeing, if you're understanding how this can help you, put a 1 in the chat box. If you're lost and you're like, Mark, why am I even here? Put a 2 in the chat box. Good, lots of 1s. Good, lots of 1s. If I get a 2, I'm going to cry. Oh, I got a 2. Why? All right, look, I'm going to do my best here to step it up here a little bit more. You've just challenged me, all right? So secret number 2, how to boost conversions with gamified pre-qualifications, okay? So check this out, okay? This is huge. Remember, we've already talked about the audience, right? Audience, audience, audience. Next, we talked about the message. So we got the audience right. We got the message right. When somebody clicks on that Learn More button, let me just move back here. See here at the bottom? Actually, you don't see it on this, but up at the top, you'll see where it says Purchase, right? There's a little link there. But if somebody were to click on that link, or if they were to click at the Learn More button at the bottom, they're going to be taken off of Facebook, okay? So this is what we call traffic, okay? You want most traffic as you can to your lead page, okay? But like I said, most people get this wrong, because what they end up doing is, instead of trying to generate a high quality visitor, they generate low quality visitors, and then when they send those low quality visitors to their page, the page is not really going to convert well, because it's, anyways, it's a whole recipe for disaster, okay? So this is what typically you would see as a loan officer, or sorry, as a homeowner who's being taken to a loan officer's squeeze page, okay? A squeeze page. Basically what a squeeze page means is, we're trying to get them to take one action on this page. Now, this one's set up pretty nice. I mean, it's better than most. First off, they've put their form at the right side. They've got the Get My Quote button, which is their call to action, really big, and then, it's somebody who gets here knows that they're going to get a free quote, and, all that good stuff. They've got some kind of nice benefits here on the left: low rates and fees, direct lender, easy application. Those are all good things, but what is the big problem? The big problem is that they've got too much information that they're trying to get from the person who visits this page, right? So they're asking for their first name, their last name, their phone number, their zip code, how much of a loan they want, what type of loan they want, and the state that they're in on one page. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things. Now, most people are going to land on this page and do what we call a bounce, which means they're going to leave. They're going to hit the back button. They're like, whoa, I don't want to be here, right? I'm not giving you my info. Because you didn't build any value. You didn't build any trust, okay? Now, I say that this squeeze page, probably converts and somewhere in the 4 to 5%. Max I've ever seen on a squeeze page that's even close to this is like 10%. Okay, and it's just completely, like I said, recipe for disaster. All right, if you don't have the targeting right, it's even worse. Okay, now what you want instead is something like this. Now this is a page that we built for Dan over at North American Financial. Okay, so you can see here, first thing that happens when you land here, your eyes probably jump right over to the button that says Let's Go, right? You see at the top, we got a call to action, very clear and concise: looking to buy a home before rates go up, take our quick 60-second pre-approval quiz. Now, the number of people, and let me just back up and talk about this. The first page that I just showed you, the squeeze page that I just showed you, I told you the average amount of people that convert on that is going to be between 4 and 5%, 10% if you're lucky. How many people, or what percentage of people that land on this page do you think actually put in their zip code and hit Let's Go? Anyone? Just go ahead and put it in the chat box. I got 40%, 30%, okay, 15%. No, okay, look, here's the thing. On this, you're going to get about a 90% click rate to the next page. Now, that's important. Okay, because the goal of these gamified pages, and I'll explain to you what we mean by gamified in just a second, but the goal of these gamified pages is to sell each step. We want to keep getting them to take more action. The more action we take, the more of a relationship we're building with them, the more trust we're building with them, the more engagement we're building, right? So we've already kind of built the trust along the whole process, right? We targeted nurses. We show the nurses that the ad is for them. Then when they get over here, they realize, that we are, not asking them for all kinds of personal information up front. We just want their zip code, so they're willing to take that first initial step, right? So they put in their zip code, they hit Let's Go. Now look, what's your ideal monthly mortgage payment? Okay, non-intrusive. I'm not typing any of my personal information in. Yeah, I don't have a problem telling you how much I'm looking for, right, on my payment. So they click on the button. Now, this is where the gamification comes in. Because we're not asking them to type in anything on the form and they're just clicking, they are psychologically not really giving us any information, no personal information, right? So they go ahead and click on the button for that. Next screen, have you ever had a foreclosure or bankruptcy? Okay, a little more personal, but okay, fine. No, I haven't. What's my monthly income? Now, again, we're not asking them to type anything in. We're asking them to just drag the bar over to the right spot. So they drag the bar over to that, whatever their income is, and hit next. Would you like information about down payment assistance? Now, I really like this question because what does it say? If they say, yes, I'd like information about down payment assistance, what do you know as a loan officer? If you're thinking that they don't have money for a down payment, you're right, right? That means they probably don't have a lot of money in the bank. But if they say no, then they do have some money in the bank, right? How much debt do you have? So you have an ability to calculate their debt to income. How long have you been looking for a home? Estimate your credit score. Are you currently working with a lender? What's your current employment status? And now, after they've already gone through this entire process and given us all their information and they've committed, now we're going to ask them for their name, their email, and their phone number. Okay, now this is why this is so important to be at the end. 2 reasons. Number 1, we covered it. It's more about not asking them for something intrusive on the beginning of the form. We want as many people to start the process as possible, okay, so we can get high conversions. But number 2, if you put that information at the end of the form, you're much more likely to not get bogus information. What do I mean by bogus? I mean no Donald Duck, no Minnie Mouse, no Goofy. You're getting the real name, the real email, the real phone number. Okay. Now, before we go to the next slide, I want you to take note of this this little thing here that says, by submitting my phone number in this form, I agree to receive text messages and phone calls from insert company here, and understand they may be sent with an ATDS, automated telephone dialing system, and also understand my carrier's text and data rates apply, blah, 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 right? Now, I'm going to get into why that's important in just a second, but just know that we are going to get the permission to start automations with this lead, okay? Very, very important. We're all about compliance. We're all about making sure that we, do everything to make sure we keep you guys above, doing everything the right way, okay? All right, now, since we've talked about the form here, this is a good opportunity for me to give you an idea of what kind of lead costs that you'd be getting, okay? Now, I don't know, quick show of hands here, who has, or just put a 1 in the chat box if you've done direct mail or, again, purchase leads, any of those types of things, okay? The reason why I ask you that is this. There is no way that you can get a quality home buyer or a potential borrower like a nurse or a firefighter or a police officer or anybody who's higher income like that at scale for the numbers that you see on this screen at all using the methods that we just talked about. I mean, if you do a direct mail campaign, you're going to spend thousands of dollars and you're going to be lucky to get a handful of people respond. If you buy thousands of dollars with leads, you're going to be lucky to get a loan or 2 out of it, okay? Whereas with this, take a look at this. Chicago nurses, 38 leads, $3.14 a lead. They spent this loan officer spent $120 on that. Shreveport, Louisiana, 23 leads, $5.88 a lead. Spent $135 on that. West Monroe, $10 leads, $6.38 a lead. Spokane nurses, 6 leads, $5.78 per lead. Cincinnati, 8 leads, $7 leads. I mean, look at that. The average lead is between $5 to $6. But I mean, we've even got leads recently for less than $2 a lead. Okay. Again, these are full leads with name, email, phone number, income, credit score, all those things that you just saw before. Now, tell me, put a 1 in the chat box if this is exciting to you. I know, I want to take your pulse here because tell me that's not cool, right? You have the ability, lots of people are putting in 1s. You have the ability to generate high-quality loan applications or borrowers, from people who actually, can actually get the loan approved. Okay, and this isn't, you're going to have to do some kind of advertising to generate a consistent flow of leads. To get some people that you can actually get qualified. And this is something that you can completely scale, right? All right, so and let's go ahead and dig into the next secret here. Secret number 3, how to fill your calendar with new client opportunities chasing you, begging to be closed. Now remember, at the end of that last slide, I'll just show you here one more time, you've got this disclaimer that says, by submitting my phone number in this form, I agree to receive text messages and phone calls from blah, 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 right? Okay, so when they click submit, here's what's actually going to happen. First thing they're going to be done, that's going to happen, is they're going to be redirected to this. Now, go ahead, put in the chat box, what does this look like to you? Yes, somebody said Outlook, calendar. Yeah, exactly. It's not just a calendar. This is your calendar, okay? Now, why is that important? Well, 2 things. One, all the times that are available on the right-hand side of this screen are going to be times that are available on your calendar. So when somebody clicks submit, the first thing that's going to happen is they're going to be redirected to your calendar, and they're going to have an opportunity to book a time with you that works for you and them. Now, this is important because when somebody fills out that form, they're hot. If they're really hot, they're going to jump on your calendar. If they're, if they're somebody who is like, man, I cannot wait to talk to this person. I need a loan quickly. We're about to, close on our home hopefully soon or whatever, right? So the process or the calendar gives you an opportunity to have those people kind of raise their hand. Now, once they book on your calendar, what will happen is 30 minutes before the appointment, they're going to get an email from you, right? So let's say you have an email that you send out that lets them know all these things that you need. Maybe you have a need for certain documents that you want them to have. Maybe you want them to have their bank statements and their income statements ready, or whatever, right? Make sure you tell them to get your, their spouse's social security and stuff, whatever you need, okay? But it'll send out an email, it'll send out a text message, and also it'll leave a personal voicemail from you in your voice on their phone without ringing their phone, okay? So this is something that's going to happen 30 minutes before the appointment so we can make sure that they don't miss their appointment. You'll also get a notice in your cell phone letting you know, hey, by the way, you got an appointment in 30 minutes, okay? So we cover that. Now, the other thing that's really cool about this calendar is, let's say your spouse calls you up and they're like, your wife or husband says, hey, I've got I wanted to meet up with you and have lunch. Do you have time? And you're like, sure. Well, normally, if you were running ads or something like that, you might actually accidentally have somebody jump on your calendar that, you might have a conflict of schedule. So what happens with this is that you could type in whatever you have appointment-wise in your own calendar, and it'll sync up with your calendar and automatically take those slots out, okay? So that's really, really cool. But again, the calendar is so awesome because it gets your lead to raise their hand and say, hey, I'm really, really hot, okay? Now let me just give you some quick stats here on this, okay? If you were to get 100 people to click on your ad, right, the one that I was showing you earlier with the nurse's ad, okay? So if somebody clicked on that ad and they go through the form, that form that we just went through, the multi-stage form, they get to the end and put in their name, email, and phone number, about 40 people are going to fill out that form. So out of every 100, you're going to get about 40 people fill out that form, okay? Now out of those 40, about 20% are going to actually book on your calendar, okay? So it means like 8 people will actually end up on your calendar. That's pretty powerful, okay? Because those 8 people are the hottest hots, okay? Now, let me ask you a question. How do you like a calendar that looks, or how would you like to have a calendar that looks like this? Of course, right? It's a no-brainer. Everybody would. Now, first off, I want to tell you 2 things. Number one, this is absolutely possible no matter how new you are, okay? And that's the one thing that kind of stinks about, when most loan officers get into the business, they got to go out and get all kinds of realtors to start sending them business for them to ever get a calendar that looks like this, okay? If you, work with 10, 15 realtors, then you'll start having a more busier calendar. But the challenge is that's something that, normally would take somebody years to get to, okay? With this, it's a system, okay? And the system never sleeps. It works for you at night, It works for you in the day. It works for you in the morning. It doesn't call in sick. It doesn't have excuses. It listens to you exactly because it's programmed to work for you, okay? So this thing is literally, Facebook, right, is literally going out, showing your lead magnet to everybody that qualifies, enticing them to go through your funnel, which is that form that I showed you, getting them to give you their name, email, and number, and then automatically asking them to get on your calendar, okay? This is like the best lead generation assistant that you can ever imagine having, okay? Now, let's talk about the leads that don't actually get on the calendar. Okay. By the way, does everybody think that so far they're liking what they're seeing? Put a 1 in the chat box. It's kind of like tips for me. Just go ahead and put a 1 in the chat box if you're liking what you're seeing. Good. Lots of 1s. Awesome. You can put a 2 in there if you don't like what I'm seeing, or what I'm saying. But good so far, no 2s. All right. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to what happens if somebody does not get on your calendar. What about those 32 leads that we were just talking about that did not get on your calendar? Okay. Well, the first thing is, no matter where you're at, if you're out of your office or if you're sitting at your office, you're going to be notified with a phone call. So you're going to get a call. Again, this is only going to happen if they don't get on the calendar. If they get on the calendar, they're going to be put on your calendar and they're going to get reminders to let them know about their appointment. But if they don't get on your calendar, you're going to get a phone call. When you answer the phone, it'll go something like this. Hi, this is Hot Prospector calling. You have a new lead from Facebook. The name of the person is John. If you'd like to be connected to John, please press any digit on your phone right now. Thank you. Okay, so now you just go ahead and turn your cell phone around, click 2 on your phone, and then instantly, as soon as you hit the 2 button, your phone will start to ring. And what's happening is our system is making a phone call to your lead at that moment. Okay, which is really cool because there's something called speed to lead. Speed to lead means basically like the faster you get to an internet lead, the better chance you have of closing it. As a matter of fact, there's a study been done that shows that you really only have about 5 minutes to contact that lead to get if you wait more than 5 minutes to contact that lead, your chance of closing that lead drops by like 90% or something. Okay, but here's the thing. Okay, so it's going to ring that customer. Now, if the customer answers the phone, there's no delay. Instantly, you're talking to them. So it's just like you picked up the phone and dialed them. And the system does it all for you. Okay, now let's say that lead doesn't answer, which, by the way, an internet lead, we found about 80% of them won't answer the phone the first time you call. So we do something called a double dial. Okay, a double dial means after that phone call hangs up, it will immediately initiate another dial attempt. Okay, and what we found is a big chunk of the people will actually answer at that point. So they're like, oh, this must be important. Then they pick up the phone, and you're like, hey, John, it's Bill over here at ABC Mortgage, and you had just filled out a form on my website. Just wanted to reach out to you and see how I can help you with getting this loan started, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now here's what's really cool about this. If they don't answer the phone even after that double dial, our system's going to try to reach out to them several times throughout that day. So day 1, you will literally have the ability to reach out to your leads as many as 5 times or more without ever having to lift a finger. Power Connect does everything. Okay, and again, this is all going to happen seamlessly. You don't have to be in front of your computer. You could be anywhere for this to work. All right, who's excited about that? Put a 1 in the chat box if you like the idea of not having to be in front of your computer. Yes. Okay, good. All right, so now let's say that somebody doesn't answer from the Power Connect. What happens then? Well, look, if you have a name and email and phone number for a nurse that has been on the job for 5 years, that's making $80,000, who has money in the bank and is looking to buy a house, and they're interested to move within the next 30 days or so, are you going to call them more than once? Yes, obviously, right? So what we want to do is make it to where you don't have to think about it. So we have something we built called the chase sequence. And the chase sequence, what it's going to do is what you would do if you had the time. It's going to reach out to that person every day or so for 2 weeks, aggressively. Okay? So day 1, voicemail and an email. Day 2, voicemail, text, and an email. Day 3, voicemail and email. By the way, all this stuff is coming from you. The emails are coming from you. The text messages are coming from you. The voicemail is in your voice. Okay, day 5, text and an email. Day 7, a voicemail. Day 9, a voicemail. I'm sorry, text and an email. Day 13, voicemail and email. And day 14, a text. Okay, now here's the thing. The way the chase sequence works is it's going to continue to reach out to your lead until one of 3 things happens. Either A, they respond to a voicemail, email, or a text by calling you, texting you, or emailing you. B, they reply stop to a text or opt out on one of your emails, or C, the sequence ends, okay? Our system has artificial intelligence built in that knows automatically, hey, this person's reaching out, stop. We don't need to reach out to them anymore, okay? But the cool thing about this is you will never lose an opportunity because you didn't follow up enough, okay? Now, this is something very interesting. I don't know if you've ever heard of this before. There's a company called InsideSales.com, and they hired an MIT research fellow. His name is Dr. James Oldroyd. Okay, now they hired this guy to actually look at their database and see, like, what's the optimal approach for contacting new internet leads. Okay, and what their findings were pretty well, for me, it's kind of a no-brainer. I figured this out myself, and then, it helped me put 2 and 2 together. But here, this is what they found. First and foremost, they found that majority of the leads that they had weren't contacted more than one time. Okay, literally, the average amount of leads, the average lead was connected about 1.8 times. Okay, so that means most people didn't even call their lead twice. Okay. The second thing is the second thing that they found was that the optimal approach, the optimal strategy for reaching out to their leads was a multi-touch approach, which means voicemail, email, and text, not just one. Don't just send all emails. Don't just send all texts. Don't just make all calls, but using a multiple touch strategy over a couple of weeks period, and doing between 12 to 15 touches. Well, if you're doing the math here, what do we got? 2, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 touches, right? We've got the magic potion here that they come up with over at InsideSales.com. And here's the good news. You don't have to be a copywriter, a marketing magician or a sales genius in order to get this thing. It's literally, all done for you. Okay. So far, so good. Everybody excited? All right. Now let me just show you here statistics, because I get excited about these statistics. So far, if you've been taking notes, and I hope you have, but if you've been taking notes, we said if you get 100 clicks on the page, you get 40 lead forms. You're going to get 8 people get on your calendar, and out of those 32 people that didn't get on your calendar, 16, right? I said 50% connection, so that's about 16 people are going to be connected to you. Now, so that 16 plus 8 is what? 34, right? Yeah, 34. And then, so you got 34 contacts so far out of your 40. Sorry, 16 plus 8 is 24. Yeah, my bad. Somebody's like, Mark, your math. But anyway, so you got 24 contacts that you've been able to speak to. All right. Now, what about the other 16? Okay, those 16 people are going to get the voicemails that I just showed you. Now, look at this report. 38 voicemails delivered, received 17 inbound calls. So that means that we're getting about a 40% response rate off of the follow-up sequence. So let's do the math on that. If you got 40% of 16, what is that? 16. That's like roughly 7, something like that. So 24 plus 7 is what? 24 plus 7 is 31. 31 out of 40 of your leads were actually contacted. Now, that's important. If you want to have high conversions, you have to get in contact with your leads, okay? Is everybody seeing how this is valuable and how this is going to be able to help them? Yes? Okay, put a 1 in the chat box. All right, now finally, okay, and this is the biggest part of what I love, okay? Remember in the very beginning I told you, the way I built my business when I had my mortgage company was by going out and generating these leads so I can take these leads to realtors and get those realtors to send me their business. Okay? Now, here's what I know. The average realtor, and this is something you can look it up, there's a statistics online about this. The average realtor is going to do about 4 transactions a year. Okay? So if you could generate enough leads to where you can get 1 new realtor a month over the course of a year, okay, what is 12 times 4? 48, right? You will be generating an extra 48 loans a year if you can go out and find 1 new realtor every single month with this system. All right. Now let me ask you a question. Put a 1 in the chat box. Do you think if you had prospects like we've been talking about, leads from a nurse or a firefighter or a police officer or a doctor or a lawyer or somebody like that who makes good money, who has good credit, who's got money in the bank and are looking to buy a house quickly, that you can get a realtor to work with you? Absolutely. Right? Yeah. Lots of 1s, of course. Okay. So at this point, let me ask you a question, okay? Would you think it makes more sense for you to continue on the path that you're on right now, which doesn't have any automation, which doesn't have any artificial intelligence, which doesn't give you a consistent lead generation approach, or would it make more sense for you to have access to a system that would do all of those things for you? It's a no-brainer, right? Put a 1 in the chat box if you'd like to do what you've been doing. Put a 2 in the chat box if you would like to have access to a system that would allow you to automate your life, that would allow you to make things a lot easier so you can close consistently more business. Now, again, I said this earlier, no matter what you're doing, if you're doing 2, go to 4, or 5. If you're doing 5, go to 10. If you're going from 10 to 20 or 50 to 100, what doesn't matter. It's all possible as long as you generate enough traffic. And the thing that I just showed you today, you have 100% control over. See, there's really nothing else you can control in this business that you're in besides one thing, and that's the traffic. You can control the traffic. So if you want to turn up the traffic, you're going to get more leads. And if you get more leads, they go through your system, you're going to end up closing more loans. So that's the bottom line. You control the traffic, okay? So at this point, if you like what you see, great. If you're a results-driven person, and I don't care if you're only doing a few loans a month or if you're doing 50 loans a month, I can help you, okay? So what we have is we have an all-access system, okay, an all-access program that will allow us to literally give you the keys to the kingdom, set up the entire process that I just showed you from A to Z. Have you go ahead and say, I'm in, right here, just go ahead and type in, I'm in, your first name, your last name, your phone number, and the best time to reach you. Just type in, I'm in, your first name, your last name, your phone number, and the best time to reach you. And we will actually reach out to you and give you a full demo of how this whole platform works, how you can get access to it, and get you set up. Okay, now here's the thing. We don't want to work with too many loan officers in your area when it comes to our all-access program. As a matter of fact, I try to keep it, depending on the size of the market, anywhere between 3 to 5 loan officers. The more people that we bring on in an area, the more that we're competing against ourselves, and we've got some really good stuff that we do that I even talk about today that I want you to have access to. So if you're interested in doing this, you must take action quickly, because when those spots fill up in your area, they're gone. Okay. As a matter of fact, I don't even know. I think we only have like 1 or 2 spots left in San Diego. So if somebody's in San Diego, that city is almost full. Also, same thing in Austin, Texas. So just go ahead. If you're interested, just type it in. I'm in. Put in your first name, your last name, your phone number, and the best time to reach you. And honestly, the sooner the better. If you want to say right now, we'll call you right now as quickly as this webinar ends. Okay. But again, I want to thank everybody for coming out today. I know, you've got a lot of other things that you could be doing with your time besides sitting here on a webinar. I hope that the value that you got from this was enormous, and that you, whether you decide to sign up with me or not today, and I'm hoping more of you say yes than no, whether you come on as a trial customer or you come on as an all-access customer, I hope that you got a lot of value and that you see how you can take what we've showed you and scale up your mortgage business. There's no reason for you to struggle if you're struggling. There's no reason for you to be stagnant if you're stagnant. There are plenty of people out there looking to buy a home every single day. Facebook is the best place to find them. We've got great targeting. We've got the options available to tell us who's in the market. There's so much that you can do with Facebook if you know what you're doing, and we do, okay? So, again, if you're interested, again, just go ahead and put in your first name, your last name, your phone number. Actually, I forgot to tell you, put in your email if you could, and then best time to reach you, okay? Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for coming. I look forward to speaking with you soon. If you're filling out that form, you and I will probably be talking soon, or somebody here from my office. Other than that, thanks again, and good luck out there. Bye.
Thanks, Mark. That was great stuff, man. I'm always honored to have you here and explain what you're doing over at Hot Prospector, and especially on today's call on how you can take digital advertising to the next level and tie it all together. So, Mark, thank you very much, and thank you, everyone, for being here. So this is what's going to happen now. We've been chatting to some of you that are really Johnny on the spot and have been biting at the bit to find out how you can get started today and so forth. So we've got you in the queue. Don't worry about it. But this webinar is about to end. However, what we've done is we've set this up so once it ends, it's actually going to go black for just a few seconds, and then it's going to go to our bonus. Yes, a bonus page for thank you very much for being here and listening and all the way through. We have a special bonus for you. So give it about 4 to 5 seconds for it to redirect. It'll go from the screen to black, and then it'll hit the page. It'll say webinar follow-up. And just take a look at it. It has our information there to click on the button, and you can set up a marketing call with us, and so we can get back on the phone with you and talk about your bonus and how we can implement everything that you've seen today. Thanks again for being here, and have a wonderful day. And it's about to redirect. Thank you.